link also takes you directly to the application process. For students that, I just kind of wanted everybody to be able to see what this looks like. It has very detailed information for both those that already go to our school and are in our Shrine Academy and those that are new to Shrine. It's a different process for each one of them. For students that go to Shrine Academy, they are not required to fill out the application unless they'd like to be considered for scholarships. I hope that every single student in the Academy will do that because I think it's a very valuable learning experience, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a couple of minutes. For those students that are new to Shrine, we are going to go ahead and have you make an account through FACS, through our brand new student information system that allows us to do this. And it kind of hand walks you right through all of the steps, everything that you need to upload, what you need to request next, etc. So if we go to the next two slides, again, I just kind of went over this while we were watching that little video. Shrine Catholic Academy students are not required to apply for the high school unless they would like to be considered for scholarships. I hope, again, that they all do that. Some of the supporting documentation that they will need is the essay, letter of recommendation for those scholarships, and then their most current standardized test scores as of December 18th. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we go too. Again, for new students that are new to Shrine, they do have to apply to come to the high school. Theirs is an online application portal, and it will again also walk them through exactly what they need to do. Our deadline for applications is going to be December 18th. This is for the first round. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to process those applications over Christmas break and start making recommendations and put them in front of the admissions committee. We will mail, like all other Catholic high schools, our admissions decisions on Friday, January 22nd, 2021. I can't believe we're saying that word already, 2021, but here we go. This is very exciting. So anybody that applies after that date, we just move to a rolling admissions process. So we'd love to have you in by December 18th. We do make a big deal about this and often have a lot of fun with what the decision involves on that 22nd. So I encourage you to have all of your information in by the 18th. I'd like to talk a little bit about supporting documents because they're pretty much the same for both students that go to the Academy and both students that also attend schools other than Shrine Academy. Our essay this year, it hasn't changed because it really does draw something out of the student that we maybe haven't learned about them. It's name one person, living or deceased, that you would like to meet and why. And if there are any students on here listening, this is your chance to listen really carefully so that you can repeat this. You are allowed to pick anyone that you would like to write about. We would love for you to pick a hero, a teacher that means a lot to you. Sports icon is okay. With regards to your faith, if it's somebody like the Pope, if it's somebody like Mother Teresa, Saint Therese, we've seen them all. And I often ask the kids if they can guess who the two most popular are that I get. And there's a third that runs really close. And I think it's just kind of fun because over the years it changes. When I first started here, it was Oprah Winfrey. And then it kind of transitioned a little bit to Taylor Swift. And then there's a Harry Styles that's usually a close third. We see presidents, we see sports stars, we see family members that kids haven't had the opportunity to meet. So anyone is fair game as long as you are able to support why you're asking that. The question that I get asked most often about the essay is how long should it be? We do like those to be handwritten. So it kind of depends on your handwriting. I usually see that most of the girls, because they tend to write a little bit bigger, generally offer us somewhere between a page and a half, whereas I see 3/4 of a page to a page for the young men. We usually try to tell them to have an opening paragraph, a couple of supporting paragraphs with the reasons why you would like to meet this person, and then close it out. You're not required to do any research. This can be from the top of your head. But I did just want to reiterate that anybody is fair game. You can have some fun with it, okay? The next one is standardized test score, which I know is sort of one of those things that's a little bit up in the air right now. I know for most of the Catholic schools, they're already engaged in the Star Renaissance testing right now, so you will have that test score to submit. For any families that are listening in tonight that don't have a test score for this year and likely will not by the time that we do applications on December 18th, it's okay to go ahead and request the one from last year. We are even going to allow our students that are in our building to submit both 7th and 8th grade. And I would encourage you to do at least 2 if you have them, at least 1 if you don't. Our kids are taking the STAR Renaissance, and we've heard that this was the first time that some of these students have seen that test, and it was a different format being online. And that's why we decided to kind of take a look at, go ahead and submit something from 7th grade too. So you can always ask any questions about that, or if you're confused or if you need some more clarification, go ahead and reach out to either Jordan or I or Coach O and let us know. Our contact information will be at the end. 7th grade report card, we'd like to have the full report card. And then for 8th grade, we do our application deadline. By that point, you should have first quarter, and we'd like to have first quarter. Okay. The last item there is the student profile. And I will be very honest, I forgot to link that on there. When you get the slides, it will be linked. It's a document that some schools will fill out for us and some won't. It is a couple of different, usually routes through a couple of your teachers, or your counselor will route it for you. All you have to do is turn it into the office at your school. And it's generally a good way for us to have some extra input on where you should be placed. And there's a little bit of a range on there. There's some room for comments from the teachers. So I will link that when I send these slides out. And you are welcome to just turn that into your school. There aren't very many schools around here that haven't seen that before. Okay. How am I doing? Any questions so far? Okay. All right, let's move on to scholarships. This is a question that I take a lot of time on because I think it's important to go through them. I did embed a little video in here. It's about 1 minute and 10 seconds. I did it on my phone so that you can see it. I wanted you to see where the links are and where you could access this when we get off the phone. But you're going to go all the way down to, if you're using a mobile device, all the way down to high school admissions on that menu right there. And it'll bring up our admissions page where there are a number of other pages that you can link into. The one I want you to take a look at is the scholarship information. We are very, very blessed to have a number of different opportunities for students to look into. We have merit scholarships. Those scholarships merit are going to be totally related to the standardized test score and their application. Okay, so that's why we were talking about our Academy kids, making sure that they do something like that because I think it's a great practice. Some of the other scholarships that fall very quickly within those deadlines are the leadership scholarships. And those are, and don't mind me, I'm going to cheat a little bit by looking at my copy, are the High School Dads Club Leadership Scholarship, the Dave Macker Memorial Scholarship, the Hall of Fame Scholarship. Those are the 3 that I would classify as leadership that are due as we start the application process and finish by December 18th. What we're looking for there is a student who's engaged in their studies, in good standing. We're looking for somebody who is engaged in their community, their school community, their faith community, perhaps that service, and is able to find somebody that is willing to write that down on a piece of paper or vouch for them. And we'll talk about letter of recommendations next. But those are some of the really, really wonderful opportunities. The only additional piece of information other than the application that you need to supply for those is the letter of recommendation for the merit scholarship and the leadership scholarships. Okay. I want to talk a little bit, oh, sorry, Mr. Mao, can you go back one more? I want to talk a little bit about those other ones. While these ones aren't directly related to that deadline of December 18th, I did want to just mention there's a lot of other opportunities. We have generous donors, alumni, friends of Shrine, that have saw to it that we are able to help some families. The need-based scholarships are also listed on there, and there's a couple that are unique. One of them is the J. Patrick Deneen Memorial Scholarship. This is a really, really special scholarship named after a former student who was here and would have graduated in the class of '85. Unfortunately, was deceased. And a couple of years ago, I guess this is going on almost 11 years ago, some of the friends from that class wanted to put something together to remember them. The Deneens had a number of kids come through Shrine, and Packy is what they called Patrick. This is in his memory. This is an outside foundation that supplies the funding for this scholarship. So we work with them by collecting the information. and then we pass it along to their committee and they will make their decisions from there. This application will be ready in January. And the reason that we wait for that one a little bit is because we do require the financial aid information to be filled out so that we can pass that along to them. Okay, so that's one is specifically designed for the incoming freshman class, and that's the J. Patrick Janine Memorial Scholarship. So please keep your eye on that one. It's just a wonderful organization. I think that they've raised something like $250,000 in those 11 years that directly impacts students at Shrine Catholic High School. A couple of the other ones that are on there have different types of requirements, and I would love for you to take a look at them so that you can see which ones match your skill set. The Connie Kramer Level Scholarship is for a student that has a demonstrated interest in writing or singing. Connie Kramer was a 1961 grad, and her husband set this up in her memory. This is a really, really interesting one and fun. The Harbor Scholarship is also listed there, and that is related to a student who has a demonstrated interest in STEM. And then there are several other ones that are listed there that are more of the leadership quality, and those are going to be due mid-February. Okay, so after we come back from Christmas break, we'll post the different applications and what you need to do for each one of those. We try to do it in one big packet so that you get to pick and choose the ones that you want to. But I think this is a really, really wonderful experience for the kids to do. You're going to do this again in just a couple of short years when you start thinking about college. You'll go through this whole process again where you're trying to, discern what school is the best fit for you. You will spend a lot of time talking about strength of study and how you're going to afford it. Is it too far away? Is it close enough to where you want to be? Does it have all of the student experience things that you want to? So it's a great exercise for you guys to take some time and look at these opportunities for you. There are a couple, two that I just want to mention because I know we have some families on here that are not from Shrine. We have two that are related to our Vicariate partner schools and parishes, and I would like you to look at the ones that are Southeast Oakland Vicariate Partner Schools and Parish Leadership Scholarships. Those are for students that are at Queen of Martyrs or St. Mary's or Holy Name, St. Hugo, right here in this area. We had a very generous donor a couple of years ago who wanted to help us grow outside of our academy. And this is a great way to be able to do it. So, and the Catholic Partner Schools Leadership Scholarship. Those are, again, for Queen of Martyrs, St. Mary's, Holy Name, any of those Vicariate schools. So keep an eye on those ones as well. And the last one that I want to mention is the Cusack Family Catholic Partner Scholarship. And that is for a student that goes to Christ our King, Jesu, Holy Redeemer, Most Holy Trinity, or any of those parishes from the city. And that was set up by a very lovely family who wanted to help us make sure that we increase the diversity and open up our doors to everybody. So if you have any questions about any of those, please don't hesitate to email me, call me tomorrow. I'm just going to hold this document up. I think Mr. Miles has been scrolling through that video for me quite a bit, but this is what the document is that I'll send you. It is on our website right now, and that link up there, Class of 2025 Scholarship Opportunities, that will take you right to it. Okay. The last two things that I want to mention on there are tuition assistance and AOD grants. Shrine has its own tuition assistance funding, as well as the AOD. They have grants for tuition assistance as well. We utilize the same form. It's called FACTS, Grant and Aid, and that will be available, I believe it will be available very shortly. And there's a couple of different deadlines involved, and I'm sorry that I'm a little bit wishy-washy on this, but we would like to see our incoming freshmen apply early. And we are working with FACTS to move that deadline up so that they can have a decision much earlier in January or February. But that will require using last year's tax information, whereas if you apply after that, it would be using your 2020 tax information. So I will have a little bit more about that I think we're doing a session called How to Afford Shrine or Affording Shrine that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And I'm hoping by then I have those deadlines locked in with FACTS and I will be able to give you a little bit more. There's nothing you can do right now. We're okay on timing for that, but we'll give you some more information. We're lucky that it's the same application. It'll make it a little bit easier. You only have to apply for it once. Okay. All right. Moving right along. So letters of recommendation, I really like talking about this because I think it's important that the kids understand that this is something that we're asking them to do. I really like to make sure that the kids know that this is their job. Certainly, I understand that mom and dad sometimes are involved in helping with the follow-up and making sure that you help compose the email, but you are asking somebody that's important to you, that you believe is going to be able to speak about your character and who you are and the things that you manage. So we'd like that email or that phone call to come from the student to the person that they're asking to write that letter of recommendation. Some of the people that we would recommend that you consider for this role would be a coach, a teacher, a counselor, an employer, a club moderator, your pastor, a priest that you're very close with at your church, that, you know, maybe you're an altar server. Any of those are absolutely appropriate. We would like you to stay away from a family member. I really hope that they would all write you a lovely recommendation, but I would really like you to step outside your comfort zone and ask somebody that can speak about your character, the things that you're involved in, to write that letter of recommendation. So in saying that, I know that when you send that letter, what I would advise my son to do would be find somebody that you feel could write this letter of recommendation for you and send them an email. You need to ask them what you're asking them to do. Write a letter that would go to the scholarship committee for Shrine. They can email it to us at Armstrong@Shrine Schools. You're going to see all those emails at the end here, Coach O or Jordan, and we will all make sure that they get uploaded to your file. You can also go into the portal if you're from outside of Shrine, and you will be able to upload it right into your account. Generally, a letter of recommendation is a couple of paragraphs. I know that our students in 8th grade are going to have a really fun unit coming up here in a couple of weeks, where they're going to work with Mrs. Paisan, our high school college advisor, and Mrs. Ale to do a career exploration unit, where they're going to spend some time interviewing somebody that they think has an interesting career that might appeal to them. And in doing that, they're going to do a lot of prep work. They're going to research their career. They're going to write their own academic resume so that they know when they're asking somebody to write them a letter of recommendation, and that person may know this much about you. I know you in the classroom, but what do you do outside of the classroom? So we're going to have them learn to write down all of those things that they do. Maybe you play sports, maybe you hold a job, maybe you volunteer a lot, maybe you help out at the church for lots of different types of events. All of those things are important for this committee to know who you are. So I hope you take the time to sit down and write those things out. I know that on our application, our paper application that our Academy students will use, there is a space for you to add additional pieces of information or put that academic resume. You will be able to just attach it to your application. For those students that don't go to Shrine, that's simply writing a resume. It doesn't have to have a lot on it, but your name, your address, how to contact you, maybe the classes that you're taking, some special skills that you have, what your hobbies are. Do you play any athletics? Do you participate in youth symphony or youth choir? Those are all things that you should consider writing down on your application, and also potentially this piece of paper that you're going to offer to your recommender to help them paint a complete picture of who you are as a student. Okay. Any questions on that? I know that this is a lot to take in, and I promise it's going to be repeated. It's listed on our website. We're going to do it again, and you can go back and watch this as many times as you'd like. Okay, I just want to give a plug for a couple more events while Jordan's working on getting me a couple of these questions out of the chat. I can't let the opportunity go by without inviting you to our open house that's coming up on Sunday, November 1st. We are really excited about the format that we've been able to put together, given that we are still under, trying to be safe and maintain distance. We are going to host a live open house. We're just not letting you come in the building. So hopefully by tomorrow or Saturday, we will have confirmed all of our high school tour guides that are going to be hosting a tour. You'll be able to log on to our website, pick the tour guide that looks most similar to you or that you think has interests that are very similar to yours. And select that person. You will be given a Zoom code for that person, and they will lead you through the building on an iPad. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So the teachers will be here in the building, and they'll take over when each one of those students walks into their classroom and says they will give you all the information about what they teach, the department that they work in, and things like that. So look for that to open up here in just the next 48 hours. We're just waiting on a couple of these kids to confirm that they can be here that day for us. Okay. Great. There's a couple other things that are going on coming up. We are still hosting in-person tours. We're just not able to do it during the school day. So we do start those at 3:15. I will also be happy to come in on a Saturday. I did one yesterday for a student that will be transferring at the beginning of next year. I know that the building may not seem like it would be lively in the afternoon, but it is. And there are still plenty of things to be able to see. I'm also doing virtual tours. If you're interested, I will walk you through on my own iPad through the building. We'll pop into some classrooms, see what's going on. But I know that those aren't all exactly what you're looking for. You'd like to come and do a visit day. And believe me, we would love to have you come and spend a whole day with us with one of our current freshmen. I know they're bummed out that they're not going to have this opportunity right now. So what we've tried to do is come up with some sort of a virtual visit day that allows you to at least have some sort of experience. And that means zooming into a couple of classes and then maybe having a private opportunity to meet a couple of our freshmen, ask them a couple of questions. You know, we think that that's maybe what we can do for right now. And those will be ready October 26th. And we're trying to work out with the teachers what are the best things that we can do for there. There's lots of events that are happening virtually. Our Hoot Nanny, which I mentioned this last week when we were talking about it, and I failed to say what the Hoot Nanny was. And I apologize for that, but the Hoot Nanny is our student talent show where students have been able to audition for and be selected to be in this showcase of the talent, which is very, very rich here at Shrine. So I think you're going to see the Goliards. They were in here last week taping something in a lot of colorful clothes, and they sounded like the backing track for this song that they're singing. It was amazing. And that's going to be virtual. So just waiting for that link to come out, and we'd be happy to pass that along to anybody that wants to watch it. The fall play that they've just cast is Clue, which I think is going to be really funny, lots of hijinks, and knowing what I know about that show, it seems like the characters that have are really going to come to life with the students that earn those roles. So that's going to be an in-person event where you can come, but if you would like to, they are going to also offer a live streaming option if you would like to pay for a ticket. The other thing I would recommend is checking us out on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have some Instagram takeovers coming up with some freshmen that just kind of show you a little bit more about that day of where you will go, you will have snapshots of what their day looked like. So I encourage you that if you have social media and you would like to follow along, to go ahead and click one of those links and those will take you where you need to go. Okay. And just last, I kind of wanted just to make sure that you had a very quick snapshot of anybody that can help answer any of the questions. Sometimes when you get off, you remember something that, oh, shoot, I meant to ask this question. You are welcome to email any of those people. If they don't know the answer, we will find it for you. And you are welcome to reach out and call. So just to go over one of our questions we did just have, in order to be considered for scholarships, the application has to be filed. That is correct. So that means for our students in our academy, which we are telling them they don't have to fill an application, they don't, unless they want to be considered for a scholarship. And I promised you, I will get the opportunity to go up and talk to the 8th graders and really remind them how important that is to take that first step. It's important to learn that you're not bragging about yourself. What you're doing is you're selling yourself. And that will become part of who they are as we walk through these next couple of years with them, looking for that job interview. And Amy Paisan just does a really, really, really good job of bringing that message home. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to learn a little bit about themselves and kind of stretch outside their comfort zone. So that was a great question. But yes, we will go over that a couple of times. So I've seen a couple of names come through on our application portal, which is exciting. I can't believe that this is already here, but it's a very refreshing and exciting thing to look forward to. So, are there any other questions? Wonderful. Just a reminder, I want to just plug one more time that your scholarship recommender can email any one of us with that letter of recommendation, or they can upload it to the portal. We'll make sure that that gets taken care of and where it needs to go. And our application deadline is December 18th. Okay, awesome. Great, you guys. You made me feel really good about myself that I must have answered every single question in the presentation. And I'm sorry that it was mostly me doing a lot of the talking tonight. Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. We'll have the recording up in about 48 hours.
Thank you.
So much.